How y'all doing? It's No Bandit back at you today. Today we're going to talk about two things that will really help you in prison if you go to prison. Okay, we're going to speak on number one topic first. Later on in the content, I'll get to topic two. But these are the two most important things that will help you in prison if you go to prison. Okay, the number one is your paperwork. Paperwork's a big deal, but things are overlooked with the paperwork, right? What I'm about to tell you is certain things, right? So paperwork's very important when you get there. People want to look at it. People want to know what your crime is. But all that, you got to be careful how you do that too. You don't just hand your paperwork to anybody. And any silly ass dude that comes at you for your paperwork, you don't know who he is or what he's about. If you go to a new prison, you're just going to prison for the first time. You don't just go hand anybody your paperwork, right? You got to make sure it gets to the right people. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta be careful on how you distribute your paperwork to the right people, right? So, I was kind of smart about my situation when I first went to prison. I know I seen everybody looking at me. You want to get to the right people as soon as possible so they know, But your paperwork's not everything either. I'll get to that later, right? So, when I went there, I did the most kind of smart thing, fast thing I could do to get the word out there on who I am, right? You go to a jailhouse lawyer in the prison, there's probably jailhouse lawyers in every race, white, Mexican, black, there's different jailhouse lawyers. Well, my thought was, okay, I'm going to get it to this jailhouse lawyer, okay, because he's locked in with everybody. He's going to let everybody know the word on who you are without you having to do it, see? So I was appealing my case. I took my paperwork straight to the dude. Here you go. And I knew he's going to go tell all the people, the lead guys and the gangs and all the crews and shit about my paperwork. See, I didn't have to do nothing except give it to him and then let them start talking, and then the word gets spread around on who I am. So that's how I did with my paperwork, right? I took it to one of the legal guys to help me with my case because I got nothing to hide. My paperwork's good, solid, right? Everybody wants to see your paperwork. They want to see. You got to have your paperwork, right? So you want to get it the right way, the right channel to the right people. Don't just go showing to any goofies that come up to you. Let me see your paperwork, or let me see your paperwork. Don't work like that. You're gonna know who's who. You want to get it to the top people, right? Okay. Just because your paperwork's solid doesn't mean you're solid. Okay. Paperwork's not everything, right? You could have down ass paperwork and still be a fucked up dude, right? You know what I'm saying? You might have done some shit in the past. Nobody knows. All this paperwork does when you first get there, it gives you a hall pass for the yard. Okay? You get a hall pass for the yard, more or less. You don't get into any crews or any cliques or any gangs because you got good paperwork. Good paperwork just gives you a pass for the yard. Okay? That's all that does. Okay? So paperwork's not everything. Okay? It doesn't hook you up with no one. It doesn't get you in nobody's crews. None of that shit, right? It says you're a down ass, what your crimes are, right? That's all it says on there. You know what I mean? Okay. Number two, we're going to get to. I think it's more important than paperwork myself, too. It works in together. Is your name, how you carry yourself, and your reputation. Okay? That supersedes everything, even paperwork. Okay, when you're in prison for a long time, say you got uncles and motherfuckers that have been in prison before, or people that have been around the joint before and shit, family and stuff like that. Your name and your brand and your respect and everything goes a lot farther than paperwork. Sometimes they can save your ass. You see, you know. I got sent to another prison. I never showed nobody my paperwork, right? Because my name, my reputation went down there before me, all right? Okay, so they know. Once you got your name and reputation, you ain't got to be showing people your paperwork. I went to 2 or 3 different prisons. I didn't show nobody anything because word's already sent that I'm coming. I already built my name, my brand over the years, right? So my name and my brand got me through a lot of things because I earned that, right? Not just your paperwork, you know what I mean? It's about your brand and your name and all that. That's number two most important thing. I got sent to different prisons, guys is waiting for me. Never even asked me for my paperwork, right? Because they know who I am. They know my name, my reputation before I even get there. Okay? So those two things Paperwork, how you spread the paperwork out to people so the right people can see it. And then later on, when you're doing your time, is reputation. Or it could be when you first walk in the door, is your reputation and your name. Who are you? Right? That makes a big difference, right? Like I said, you can have good paperwork, solid paperwork, but that don't mean you're solid. It just means your crimes you just came in with is solid. That's all that means. You know what I'm saying? So remember those two things that can help you out in prison, man, if you ever go to prison. But stay out of prison. Prison's no place to be. Okay? Peace out, guys. Have a good day.